Hello Reformers and welcome back to Warsword Conquest and Slythe's quest for cheese. Yes, it's happening and we are here in the High Elf territory once again and we're going to be sieging one of their towns. And this is going to be kind of a new experience because, well, we've only sieged one of their towns before, and this is probably going to have a different layout to the one previously. So, wow, they have... Wow, look at that. Their walls are so incredibly high, it's making things very, very difficult for us, actually. I'm going to tell everyone to hold position right here, just a little bit, just so that we can get our Globadiers. Yeah, look at that. Our Globadiers are starting to do some work right there. And we're going to tell everyone else, apart from our engineers and everything, to go up the ladder and start dealing damage themselves, because, well, as we know, it is a good idea to have a double twin-pronged assault. And that makes it sound like there's 4 of them, doesn't it? Double twin, yeah, double twin pronged assault. Yeah, well, never mind. 4 attacks from 4 different directions. That sounds like a good idea. Why not? And yeah, anyway, as you can see, being able to head in here and deal damage with an insanely powerful weapon is exactly what we love. Oh yes, and we're already inside? Okay. That was a bit weird. That is a bit weird. Okay, why are there... Okay, their defense is minimal at best. Very strange. Okay, I guess I can actually tell everyone else to charge in straight off. Ah, there seems to be... Oh, okay, so there's a huge contingent of archers down here, but that seems to be it, basically. They don't seem to have that much more, which is kind of weird. Anyway, it seems like we are easily able to overcome them as our demon slayers, and... well, never mind, some of them are actually getting pincushioned to death, but that's gonna happen either way. Anyway, let's see if I can maybe do some damage here, try and stay alive as we do it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no! Oh no, we're up against the wall. That is the worst place for me to be because we have such a long weapon right here that it is going to make things much more difficult to basically do anything. So I'm going to try and see if we can maybe stay within relatively close range to the opponent because they are able to deal some damage. They are able to deal some damage with their bows and everything, and they are kind of wily, you know, they actually do have the ability to dodge very easily, and that obviously makes things kind of difficult for us. But, oh, I'm being shot by that guy. That's not good. Ah, I wanted to get out my pistol. I actually thought that he fired, but he didn't. He didn't. He was waiting. He was waiting. He was just poised in position and waiting for us to just, you know, stand still, and then he was going to take advantage of it. Katja has advanced to level 23. Really pleased to see that, I gotta say. Now, if we could just kill these... What? 1? Are you serious? There's just literally like 1 or 2 enemies right there? Are you... Come on now. There's no way that that's gonna stop our guys. They're gonna head in and they're gonna do as much damage as possible. So let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. The Globadiers are actually starting to pay off a little bit now. Oh, that was a nice hit. Did you see that? They got so many kills in that one bombardment. That was really cool. And yeah, I think this is actually... I mean, I hate to say it, but it feels to me like the High Elf towns, albeit very beautiful looking, are maybe not the greatest in terms of strategic prowess. It seems the High Elves need to go back to the drawing board and be like, oh, what can we do better, guys? What can we do better? Because it seems like we're not able to, you know, construct our towns in the best possible way, because goodness knows, their castles, on the other hand, seem much better when it comes to their layouts and everything for the defenders at the very least. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm perfectly happy to have a very easy siege on our hands here, and that will be one of the, well, shall we say 2 of the 3 towns captured by Clan Cheese, and then we will be moving to the next one in due time. And there it is, the victory chant of our forces. Well, shall we say the victory squeaks of our forces, yes. Anyway, we did lose a pretty significant amount of units, but that is going to happen when we are facing such a large, overwhelming enemy. We only took out 234, kind of a bit strange. Usually it's about 300 or so, but I guess they maybe... I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but anyway. We have breached the town walls, and it is time for us to attack the last remaining units. Oh, this is... Oh, I remember this. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Maybe I can use my gun a little... Oh no, I was hopeful that I would be able to hit this guy from that range. Seems like I was not able to. I am in a very precarious position right here because while I would love to be able to... I'd love to be able to help out, you know? I'd love to be able to help out a little bit. See what we can do here. Okay, seems fine. Seems alright. I mean, we have a giant slayer right now. That is the only reason, I think, maybe why we're actually doing okay. He seems to be getting most of the kills. And a plague priest. Let's come from behind. Oh yes, there we go. Do a little bit of sneaky Skaven action right there. And otherwise, what else do we have to deal with? Who else is left? Ah, there are 2 enemies remaining. They seem to be holed up somewhere. So I am a bit worried about that because they're probably going to attempt to set some kind of ambush, or they are going to try and shoot us from high above. Yeah, they're over here, I feel. Yep, they're right here. There they are. Do you see them? Ah, there's actually only one of them that I can see right now. Yeah, nice headshot, Slythe. Very good. And maybe we can get another one. There's the other one. Boom. Ah, there was probably an invisible wall there, let's face it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Phew. I was a bit worried about that because I'm very low in HP, so I was just thinking to myself, oh, we might very well fail at the last hurdle. Well, the second last hurdle in this case. And let's see what we're able to do here. Oh, Poison Wind Globadier. Very nice to have one of those. Actually, maybe it's not. Because those Poison Wind Globadiers are obviously not extremely good when it comes to melee combat, and having them... Oh, never mind. Well, they're able to beat high elf archers at the very least in melee combat, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, fine with me. 18 renown, pretty nice. And then we're going to be able to take a couple of others. I'm going to be taking those Dread Knights, thanks very much. Do they have any... Yes... More Nagaroth Assassins. I absolutely love those. They are so incredibly fun to watch, as well as the Demon Slayers. They are also very fun. And what else do we have here? Dread Shards as well. Dark Shards, and well, we could take some Rice Card Knights, but I'm not a big fan of taking human units, especially considering we're not really... thematically, it's not very good to have humans in the army, at least for the current theme that I'm going for here, considering the theme in general has been to take units that are kind of, shall we say, related to Skaven in some way. So, for example, Dark Elves, and even though we are using a couple of Dwarven units right here, we are only using the Slayers. We are not using anything else, as far as I am aware, and that... Yeah, a Skaven could use some dwarves as shock troops, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, we're going to move on, and yeah, there's not much here for me to take, thank you. Alright, so I am going to be continuing to give these things to Nurthan and Corvas, as well as Azulok, because they are the vassals that are going to be looking after this area, and that's it. There we go. Alright, so there is actually something I want to do. Yeah, it seems like we have enough food, actually, so it doesn't seem necessary for me to buy any. But I will be buying some just because, and you may have seen me pick up some wool there, but I actually did trade it back, so that's alright, you know, no problem there. Anyway, let's go into the tavern real quick, and I'm sorry, have we met before? I'm looking for a leader. Ah! Well, I can't take in anyone right now, and I don't particularly know whether you are a unique companion or anything like that. Personally, I don't feel like we need any additional companions right now, because we already have... What is it now? I think we have, what is it, 99 or something? Do we have 99 right to rule? I don't think we have 99 right to rule. I think we have 99 honor or something like that. So let's have a look at the... Oh, we do have 99 right to rule. Yeah, that's just because people have been making peace with us all over the place. So I suppose that's the reason. My reputation has gone down significantly because I've been doing, quote-unquote, evil things. You know what I mean? Because Warsword Conquest, obviously, when you do honorable things in the native game, you will lose reputation as an evil character. So, for example, I'm playing Skaven, so I lose reputation every single time I let a lord go, for example. Hopefully that's understandable. If I explained it incorrectly, I apologize, but that's the best I could do at the time. Anyway, let's see if we can get a couple more Poison Wind Globadiers. Not many, actually. Not many at all. But we do have quite a few reasonably good units. So I'm actually just going to wait here for some time and, well, have a look at the map. It's not going well. It's not going well for the High Elves. it's like I said, it's not going well. Like, it's not going well for us. No, it's actually going very well for us in actual fact. And, well, the hunt for cheese is almost at an end, because there's only, what, 3? Yeah, they only have 3 fiefs remaining. The Skaven and the Beastmen have made peace with each other. I actually found that was kind of weird for the Beastmen and the Skaven to be wanting to war against each other to begin with, but I think it was the Beastmen that declared that war. So I guess, well, I guess you can't really take much away from that. Anyway, let's go over to Katya, and we will be seeing what she's actually speccing into right now. I guess I'll just get her an additional point in engineering and in first aid. Just make her into kind of like a backup engineer, because we do have Joseph. Oh, she's actually much better than Joseph now. I was unaware of this. I was unaware. I thought, hey, yeah, it would probably be a cool idea, considering Katya is speccing into intelligence, that, you know, it might make sense for us to have a backup engineer, but now she's surpassed the master engineer, so she's actually doing a much better job. Alright, well, that's perfectly fine with me, because that means we'll be able to construct our ladders and our siege towers. And speaking of siege towers, please don't let this be one. Yeah, no, it is not. This is going to be... Oh, did you see that? Look at that. I literally just said this is going to be, and then it was built. That is amazing. Well, to me so far, this looks like a pretty decent castle for us, and once again, we're going to be doing the standard thing where we get our globes and our engineers and everything, and we just tell them to kind of hold position, and we'll tell everyone else to just charge straight on in, because that's exactly what my army is designed for right now. Basically, I am just attempting to have ranged support that will bombard the enemy either with high single target damage or AoE damage in the form of the globadiers, of course, and otherwise, we have shock troops all over the place. We have storm vermin, we have Eshin assassins, we have demon slayers, we have rat ogres, and all sorts of things like that. And they are amazing at that job. They are really, really good. And it doesn't matter what happens. Literally, we are always going to be getting onto the battlements. And that's the main thing. That's the main thing we've got to be focusing on here. And especially considering the High Elves do have some relatively decent ranged units. I actually wouldn't know whether they are as good as what's the best ranged faction actually in Warsword Conquest, because I think maybe Wood Elves or High Elves or maybe the Chaos Dwarf Infernos. Obviously, I mean, you got to think about those guys. They're pretty good at what they do. Obviously, they are just AoE units. I'm talking maybe more about the conventional kind of ranged unit. Because if you put against, let's say you put a Warplock Engineer or a Scryer Jezzail up against a Shadow Warrior, you know, a Nagaryth Shadow Warrior from the High Elves, and a oh, I can't remember the Wood Elves. Well, what is the whichever the highest tier ranged unit of the Wood Elves is, you put these guys in a battle against each other, and who do you think's going to win? I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea, but it's very interesting to, you know, think about what that would actually result in, because having those kinds of battles against each other is actually kind of interesting, especially considering, well, I guess what you could do is you could basically just have a look at their stats, and their stats would probably show everything that you needed to know about who's going to be the top dog, so to speak. And I think maybe it's I don't know really, because the Shadow Warriors for the moment are actually not doing that much damage to me. And I'm wearing some pretty heavy armor right now. I'm wearing like medium armor. You know, it's not exactly, you know, protecting me a huge amount, but it's protecting me enough. And they are well, they're pretty decent. You know, they're pretty decent. These guys, they can dodge. They can still do some damage in melee. I'm gonna try and what's actually going on with my units right now? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why they are. I don't know why they're getting stopped in their tracks. It's kind of a bit disappointing at the moment, actually, but oh well, never mind. Let's just shoot that guy in the face and shoot this one in the face as well. There we go. And I'm just going to take cover. I'm just going to take cover and do as much as I can. But yeah, as I say, the Shadow Walkers seem pretty good. And, well, obviously we know how the Jezzails are. They're very, very slow, but they are accurate, and they do a lot of damage. So, that's kind of a thing. I don't know. I mean, Personally, I feel like I'd probably take a Warplock Engineer over basically any of those other ranged units, but that's not really... Oh, there we go. There's a death. 28 damage taken from the Shadow Walker. I don't think he got a headshot on us, but maybe he did. 28 is quite a lot, and we do have a pretty substantial helm on. And now my units are starting to come down the stairs. Yes, it seems like it took them a little bit too long, in my opinion, for them to actually penetrate the overall defenses of the enemy's infantry. But, well, I suppose I did go a little bit too eagerly into the enemy's territory, which is obviously going to result in a bit of a demise for Slythe, and he's obviously not very happy about that. Alright, so once more under the breach, dear friends. Yes, that's exactly what we're doing here, and well, we have basically no opposition, because it seems like most of the enemy units are now ranged, and that is making things quite easy for us, because we're able to get into the battlements even easier than before, and that was even still pretty simple. So yes, once all of these guys on the battlements are dealt with, I did have to retreat because unfortunately my units got a little bit stuck on the environment somehow. I'm not entirely sure why, but they started to basically just walk into each other, and that obviously resulted in a bit of a well, traffic jam, so to speak. So they basically just stood there getting shot at and not really doing much else, which was not great. And so I had to try and fix that by retreating, and it seems like everything's working a little smoother this time, but obviously we now have to deal with more enemies. And I think there was actually, as I was building the ladders, even though I am actually able to build them very, very quickly, I think there was another vassal that actually got in to the garrison. So that is really pretty bad. That is pretty bad, but it's okay. It's okay, we're doing alright so far, and as long as my units actually decide to not get stuck this time around, we should have a pretty easy time of things, or at least as painless as possible, even though I've already lost a huge amount of units in the process of taking this. But that is the cost of war, and as we are a Skaven, well, technically a Skaven Lord, we are generally going to be kind of accepting of losing units nowadays, because we have such a large army. I do have a huge amount of units in the garrison at Carrickhearn, so even if I do end up losing my entire army even, I should be able to get a, well, I wouldn't say an extremely powerful army like this one, but I would be able to get an army up and running basically instantly. And I'm not talking about having, like, I don't know, 50 Globadiers and 50 Jezzails and, 50 crazy amounts of Rat Ogres and so on and so forth, but I would be able to get something that would be capable of taking castles and maybe even taking the last remaining town from the High Elves, and that's basically all that matters in this stage of the game. So that's it. There we go. We've taken this castle, and it is the, well, one of the last. I think that's the third last one. Oh, we actually freed that guy. Oh, very nice. We freed a, yes, as you can see, we gain reputation. So now as a Skaven, harking back to my previous point, as a Skaven, we're going to actually lose reputation instead of gaining it. So, yeah, it's because we're evil. So, oh, we're freeing someone else? Oh, well, we're losing even more reputation, which is not actually very good. Oh, well, never mind. That's fine. Okay, so let's have a look. Naggaroth Assassins. Yeah, give me those Naggaroth Assassins. I love those guys. They're cool. Let's get some Sorceresses. Some Dread Masters. Yes. More Sorceresses. Thank you very much. And I guess we could take a... I don't really want to take a Shadow Walker, even though they are really, really good units. I don't really want to take them for obvious reasons, because they are High Elves and we're actually fighting them right now, and it kind of doesn't make sense. So I don't really want to do that for the moment. I could take some Bloodshades, why not? I mean, I'm sure there's something else here that I've missed, but personally, I don't really mind too much, because we are pretty much steamrolling mostly everything at the moment. However, the one problem that I'm foreseeing right here is that we have only 1,600 gold in our inventory, which is really bad, because that means I will be unable to, well, basically rank up our units, and that is partially the, well, the strength of my army at the moment, being able to get a huge amount of experience and level up the units that are not exactly great into units that can actually do something. So that is a bit of a shame. But anyway, gonna wait here for some time, try and regenerate ourselves. I gave this to Azulok because he actually already owns this castle right here, so having two castles in very close proximity, he should be able to travel between them and defend relatively easily. Alright, so it has come down to this. This is the last remaining town of the High Elves, and yeah, I actually just completely basically skipped the last castle because it was there was literally only I believe it was 204 units. Yeah, there was only 204 units in there, and I thought, hey, you know what, this is just not even worth showing because it's kind of the same kind of layout, and yeah, same kind of units, and we were able to take it pretty easily. They did have another 5 Nagaroth assassins in there, so that's pretty cool, and we were also able to gather a whole bunch of other reasonably okay units, so nothing really to worry about there, and we are now able to siege the last town. Now bear in mind that this last town used to have a pretty significant amount of vassals inside, but ever since I came up here, all the vassals have been scurrying like rats. Oh yes, they have been leaving the sinking ship, as it were. And, well, we bore witness to that. We were right there. And we were watching them, and they were all just running away. And it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic to see that, because that means that they know we have the power. We have the power to destroy them, and they know it. We know it. Everyone seems to know it. And we will be eliminating the High Elves very, very soon, but it does have to depend on a couple of things. I have no idea. This is one of the points. I have no idea how many units they have in here. I do know that they have about 450 as a base in the garrison itself, but I do not know how many vassals are inside the garrison. So obviously we could be fighting an army of 1,000, or we could be fighting an army of 500 or so. So that's obviously a thing that we need to be a bit aware of. You know, you don't want to overextend yourself too much, but I think my army is relatively well designed, so shouldn't have to worry too much about all these minor little details. We should be able to deal with these guys without too many difficulties, especially considering I'm behind enemy lines right now. And being behind enemy lines gives me the greatest opportunities to do that. Yes, to go through every single one of those archers and just cleave them. Actually, I don't know whether you... Can you cleave with a sword? I guess you can cleave with a sword, but I generally tend to think of cleaving as more of a thing that you can do with an axe of some kind. But, oh well, never mind. Doesn't really matter either way. It's just semantics or whatever, you know. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. As long as we're able to murder and slaughter everyone in our path, that's all that matters. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, these guys are actually kind of weird. I feel like, yes, they have pole arms and everything. Oh, we're level 41? Wow. Okay. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I know it seems a bit weird considering I've been playing this entire time and I've been like, yes, we've leveled to this level and we're now this level and so on and so forth. But just seeing it there in numbers, it's been a long time since I've actually been able to get such a high level character in a series, because usually, you know, the enemy experience will usually be pretty low, and it will be kind of difficult to, you know, get levels, because I'm talking about mods like Brisenwalder and Gekukujo and things like that, where the enemy units are usually not going to give you that much experience because they are just generally a pretty low level, you know, because the mod is a completely different kind of, you know, tune in terms of balancing. But in Warsword Conquest, you're fighting enemies that are consistently going to give you some pretty high amounts of experience. Anyway, point is, we're now 41, so that's pretty nice, and maybe I'll be able to survive until the end of this siege. I would very much appreciate that. I don't think it's going to happen, however, because these guys will end up dodging a little bit too much, will make me a little bit too static in my movements, and as a result, they'll be able to pick me off at some point. But I seem to be able to cleave through these guys pretty easily, so not too bad. But bear in mind that their reinforcements, yes, speaking of them, they're going to be right in there. And, oh, they're actually sending in villagers now. Well, that is not a very good sight, is it? No. To have your once honorable enemy sending in huge amounts of villagers to their deaths. That sounds like something the Skaven would do, not the High Elves. Although, maybe they would. I don't know. Maybe they would. Anyway, seems like this is indeed a victory, but we all have to go through the streets, so I'm hopeful that I will not get myself killed. If I get myself killed, then we might have to go through the streets with, once again, a very low percentage in HP, and that is not good. That is really not good, because that can be very unstable. We would probably get ourselves killed. You know how it is. You know how it is. Alright, there you go. 40 renown. Look at that. 40 renown. That is so nice. We actually took extremely low casualties. What? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I guess they just didn't know what to do because we were everywhere, basically. I don't know whether you saw, but we were basically just swarming every single direction. And I suppose the enemy just didn't know where to concentrate their forces. Anyway, here we go. This is the last... what? What? Okay. Okay, a female villager. That is our last opponent. No, it's actually not our last opponent, but yeah, I am going to be attempting to kill that High Elf Archer, thank you very much. Joseph! Yes, let's see Joseph in action. Oh, okay. Well, that was it. I was about to hype him up. I was about to be like, yes, the master dwarven engineer is going to be, you know, up against all the odds, you know, against a highly skilled opponent in this high elf. And, yeah, no. That was it. Yeah, well, that was also it. Nice shot from Slythe there. Completely eliminating Joseph's usefulness right there. But, oh well, never mind. Okay, so how many enemies remaining? Yes, there is a High Elf Marksman, and I assume there's going to be another one around the corner here. Or not. It's one of these guys. Well, that's okay. Silver Helm, you came in second. Did you get it? Silver? Not gold? Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, well, bad joke. Anyway, let's go in to the keep and finish things up. Okay, now let me see if I can do this a little bit. There we go. A little bit strategically. I want to try and take out that Phoenix Guard as soon as possible. Try and take out the Dragon Prince as well. Try and take out the high tier unit as much as we can, because the others are not going to be able to do that much. But look at this. This is such a cool environment. Look at this. That is amazing. I gotta say, the mod team on this have done a fantastic job in the environments, the unit design, the armor. Everything is just working seamlessly and actually working extremely well. I have only had, I think maybe like, I don't even know, 1 or 2 crashes in the entire time that I've been playing. And that's pretty spectacular for such a large scale mod. Anyway, there you go. We do have a number of people, 3 vassals so far. Oh, only 3. Okay, only 3. That's actually not even that bad. No, that's pretty good. Okay, so let's have a look at what else I can actually get here. Do they have some Dread Masters? Yes, they do. They have 6 of those. Give me them. Bright Sorceress, Eshin Assassin. They do have a couple of Poison Wind Globadiers as well. And Cryojazael, Plague Priest, yes, give me all those, thank you very much. Okay, so I guess we'll take an Amazon Mistress as well. I only have 6 spaces. There's another Bright Sorceress, and I guess we'll just take a couple of Nagaroth Bloodshades. I do like those quite a bit. Alright, because they do level up, I believe, into Nagaroth Assassins, don't they? I think they do. Anyway, let's leave and take a look at our domain, as long as I'm able to give... I'm going to give Azulok this, because he actually does need another town, so it would make sense. Anyway, as you can see, most of these vassals were basically running away from us, and they ran away from the garrison itself. If they'd stayed in there, it would have made things much, much more complicated. But you can see, there it is. We're done. We're done with the High Elves, and, well, it is only a matter of time until they get eliminated. And this is the entire map if you wanted to take a last little look at it. Because what we'll be doing now is Slythe will be going away a little bit, on a bit of a hiatus. I don't know whether he will return, it really depends. But I think this is a pretty decent time to stop, as we have eliminated the High Elves, and most other races in the game, with the exception of Well, actually, no. Most other races in the game, I mean, we've eliminated all the humans, with the exception of the Nippon, but I don't exactly know how much of an enemy they actually are to the Skaven. So, anyway, the point is, Slythe's going on a break, Slythe's going on a break, and there will be something else to replace him in the near future. It will be a Warsword Conquest playthrough, and hopefully you will enjoy that as well. And who knows, maybe Slythe will return for a couple of things here and there, but yeah, just letting you know that he's going on a bit of a break. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching with our journey with Slythe here. It has been extremely fun and enjoyable, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. And me and Slythe will see you next time.